company dismissed. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Whoop.
Well, good evening and welcome to another edition of Sky Blue History Podcast with myself, Claudio, and of course our club historian, Jim Brown. Now, it's the international break and the week so boring without domestic football, of course, although I did witness a 5-4 win for Italy against Israel last night, clearly employing Coventry's old tactic of we'll score more than you, in what was a bizarre game, Jim, where we were behind twice, got to 4-2 up in front. Israel scored 2 goals in the last 2 minutes, and Italy went up the other end and got the winner. Unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable game. It was like watching the City. But tonight, we've got a very special guest indeed. Former Coventry City central defender Ian Butterworth. Ian broke through with the Sky Blues in the early 80s, made 90 league appearances, and was part of that big move to Nottingham Forest alongside Stuart Pearce. A calm, composed centre-half. He wasn't just appreciated by the fans, but by the commentators too. No more memorably than Barry Davies during an FA Cup tie at Manchester City when he said the words Butterworth, even then, was prepared to play the right ball and not hoof it anywhere, which of course led to Barry's own words of the most delightful chip. Peter Bodak never stops talking about that goal, does he, Jim? It was a classic bit of play. And we'll be chatting about Ian, about his Coventry days, his career beyond, and we'll also try to clear up a story that's done the rounds over the years, that in Pizzaland in Leamington Spa, while sat with Stuart Pearce, he told an autograph hunter, this will be your last chance because we're both off in the morning. Was that ever true, Ian, or was that just made up?
I can't remember that far back, Claudio. No idea at all.
So, evening, gents. And before we delve into Ian's Sky Blue career, I just want to start with the international break. Ian, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I know you've.
No problem.
I think it's the second or third time I try, but thanks for coming on. It's brilliant to have you on. So I want to ask you both. Firstly, you, Ian, as a player and also been part of backroom staff, how did you view these international breaks? And you, Jim, as a fan, what are your thoughts? So, Ian, was it a pain?
Yeah, well, it depends. If you've won the first few games of the season and momentum's good and it's going through for you, you don't want to break, do you? Maybe if the results have gone the other way, you might want to have a little bit of break and take a bit of stock and things. But they do disrupt the season a little bit. But when can we play these international games? There's so many of them these days. For the fans as well, that you just get into a new season, you're excited, and all of a sudden you have to stop after 4 games. So, and then it's just stopped starting it till Christmas time. Not ideal, but there again, where are we going to cram the games in?
It's interesting because I think years ago, as fans, I used to love the international matches, but as I've
Well,
gone older, I don't think.
I'm not a great viewer of England actually in the qualifying. I think we just get that. We always get there, don't we? I mean, I like to see us be tested against the better sides, and we know we're going to get there. And they've not been brilliant games, and they've not been for a very long time. So I do lose a bit of interest watching England in the qualifying games.
You're not much of a fan, are you, Jim?
Definitely not of these games, no. And it's a shame that we've got to play teams like Andorra and Liechtenstein and the like. I personally think it would be better if they had their own qualifying competition and then joined the best couple of teams, joined the big boys further in, a bit like the FA Cup, really. No, I've not been watching the internationals at all.
It's not great for supporters as well, Jim, is it really? Because it's like the game of the night. You're watching it, and there's only one team trying to win the game. The other team are technically inept, and probably losing to England 2-0 is a moral victory. Andorra have improved, haven't they, over the years? They used to get beat 5, 6, and 7. They're not getting beat 5, 6, and 7 so often. But it ruins it for supporters really, because FIFA have got to look at this really, because you've got 2 teams there, and one team doesn't want to win, or it can't win, should I say. So it's some of them are mismatches. So it's a difficult watch, but the fun starts when we qualify.
Yeah. So what do the players do then that are left behind who don't get called up? They just light
Well, the training,
training?
the training program is arranged. Maybe have a 1 or 2 days, extra days off, but usually kept going. Really, keep it going because you're back in league action, aren't you, this Saturday? So yeah, it's maybe a weekend off and then hard at it from Monday to the Saturday. Preparing for the game.
I think, Jim, we're in a great position this time round because I don't think anybody's gone away, have they? I think they've all been around.
I don't think they have, no, because Latibaudiere is injured. He would normally go off with Jamaica, wouldn't he? But no, I think there's nobody in the squads. Of course, Ian, this weekend it's the Butterworth derby.
Yes.
Coventry v Norwich.
Coventry v Norwich, yeah. Well, they've had a good start, haven't they? Really, Frank's taking the reins over from Robbo, and I'm sure Coventry will be looking to get promotion this year. I've been to Coventry quite a few times actually over the last few years, with scouting duties and watching them, and I've said it before. It's a club close to my heart. It gave me my debut. I played with some great players when I was very young. Got in the team early, so I always look for Coventry result. I always enjoy coming to Coventry. I just hope they can get into the Premiership.
So how did you come to join Coventry?
I think I was just picked up on trial what we were playing for my county team, and I was driven down. And Bert Edwards, I don't know if you remember Bert.
Yes.
He was in charge of youth development, and Colin Dobson was the youth team coach. And then I signed. I signed on schoolboy forms at 15, but then I signed the old apprenticeship at 16 and moved down. And it's fabulous. And I was lucky to get in the first team at just over 17 and a half. So I did make a big impression early on, and I had some good coaches there. Bert Edwards and Colin Dobson and then John Sillett as well. All terrific footballing people who helped young players. And it was great, because I was only just a bit younger than the Mark Hatleys and Gary Thompsons and Danny Thomases and Steve Wittens. Who else was there? That was they were a few years ahead of me, but I ended up playing with them in the first team. So I do look forward. I always like going to Coventry, and
I was looking at the youth teams that you played in, and there were some very, very good players. We've got Perry Suckling.
That's right, Perry. Yeah.
Martin Singleton.
Yeah.
Lloyd McGrath.
Yeah. Romish Chuck, who's Chuck. Yeah.
Chucky. Yeah. And Greg Abbott, who played manager.
Right. We had some good times there, really, because we used to play our games there down at the training ground on a Saturday morning, and then go and watch the first team in the afternoon. And then maybe because we were young lads in them days, we went out for a few beers on the Saturday night, slept on the Sunday, and then back in training hard on the Monday. So it was a good environment to play in, really, because the philosophy there at the club at the time was, if you're young enough, you're good. If you're good enough, you're in there. So they gave a lot of young players an early start in their careers, and they wanted to throw people in. Oh, sorry about that.
Behind me, and you can see 3 shirts. Your signature is on both of those shirts. I've got your autograph on both of those.
Oh, right, okay.
The middle one is the game where Perry Suckling made his debut. I don't know why I was at the Connection that day. Normally, because my dad used to write a letter to Jimmy Hill quite often complaining, so he used to get invited. But the whole team signed that one, and the other one, you're on there, but it's the game when we played Man United, and I think it was the first all-seater game. So
that was the first game of 81-2 season, wasn't it?
Yeah. And that's they're both from those games. One from Southampton, one from the Man United game. And they're all signed. Although on one of them, it's fading a bit, which is a bit of a worry. I think my mum washed it accidentally.
So my phone keeps on going off. Excuse me. No problem.
So I was looking back at when you first came into the first team, and as we said, you did come on as a sub at Main Road, which must have been some experience, especially it was on Match of the Day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a fantastic experience. Yeah, I remember it. Yeah, and obviously we got a good victory there, a good win in the cup, and obviously it was Peter Bodak who grabbed the headlines, wasn't it, with a tremendous goal. And yeah, it was a good time that was. And I remember getting a phone call from Jimmy Hill on the Monday around my digs in Wyking, just saying, very well played when you came on, and hopefully you have a long career with us, blah blah blah. So that was a nice touch from him.
Yeah, and whilst we're doing quite well in the FA Cup, the league form was absolutely dreadful.
Yeah,
We had that dreadful 5-1 home defeat to Notts County, and I think we were 12 league games without a win. And if I remember correctly, I was at Old Trafford the night you made your debut, because I lived in Norwich at the time.
Okay.
And, so it was an easy game for me to get to. But
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, Dave Sexton changed the system, and you were part of a 3-man central defence.
Yeah, with Paul Dyson and Gary Gillespie. Yeah, we played a 3-5-2, didn't we? A lot of the times. Yeah, and a couple of times I played in midfield as well under Dave as well. So, but mainly I played at the back with Gary and Big Paul. But maybe that night I might have played. I'm not sure. I think I played in midfield that night.
Did you?
Yeah, because I remember looking up and seeing Ray Wilkins, Brian Robson, and Remy Moses as my three. So yeah, a tall order. But no, yeah, I think I did actually. I think I did. But most of the time it was in the back three. Yeah.
Would that have been Dave Sexton's first return to Old Trafford?
It might have been. It was, yeah.
What was he like, Ian? Because he was they said he was well ahead of his time as a coach. Would that be right?
He was. Yeah, he was very studious, very quiet. Knew what he wanted, and he was a good coach on the grass. Simple as that. I think he improved all of us really in the team. And he had a good mix of experienced players. He brought Jerry Francis into the team, into the squad. We had Jerry Daly was there as well, and Stevie Hunt. The sort of older players with all us youngsters as well. And he was a very good coach. You learned every day. It was a joy to go into training, to be fair. And I think he liked me as well. And he was also under 21 manager, so he put me in that squad there as well. So that was very good. And he was an excellent coach, and he probably was ahead of his time. I don't know why he got sacked at Manchester United, really.
No, he won his last 7 games, didn't he?
Yeah. Probably wanted maybe a more flamboyant approach. I don't know, with an Atkinson there. But no, he's an excellent coach.
So your arrival in the first team sparked off an incredible run. 14 games, only 2 defeats, including the famous 5-5 draw at Southampton. And a 6-1 win over Sunderland. Do you remember much about the Southampton game?
Southampton game, no. Defences didn't come on top that game, though, did they? They were stacked with old international players, weren't they, in that game? Mickey Shannon and who else was there? Was Keegan playing? Yeah, was it McDougall playing?
Was Borley playing then?
Alan Ball, yeah. He scored a goal.
Steve Williams, Nick Holmes, yeah, they had a lot of experienced players. So, yeah, I can't remember too much about the game. I remember the result, but no, we did play the 3 at the back, and it helped us a lot. I think give us a bit of stability there.
Yeah,
and I can't remember much about that season. The only really season when we were in trouble was a few years on, when it was the 84-85 season. When we actually win our last
3 games.
3 games. That was Stoke, Luton, and Everton, wasn't it? I always remember them 3. Yeah. But I can't remember much about that early season. That 80 was it 81-82?
81-82. Yeah. Well, I said you did. We did go on a fantastic run, and you played a big part in that. And then the following season, Dave Sexton's second season. I think you had some injuries. I think because you only played 20 odd games.
Yeah,
No, you didn't. You played 26 games. You missed the start of the season. You missed first 6 or 7 games.
You weren't in America, were you?
No, I might have had. Did I have glandular fever? I think I might have had glandular fever. I don't know. I can't remember actually. I can't remember. No.
But that season, we had another awful run after Christmas, and then we in the penultimate game we won 3-0 at Stoke and made ourselves safe. But then the following week, Dave Sexton got the sack, and Bobby Gould came in.
We all came in, and we had a change around of players, didn't we, as well? A lot of lads' contracts were up and left, didn't they? And
that's right.
A lot of new players coming. You know, the Mickey Adamses and Terry Gibsons and Nicky Plattners and Dave. Was it that? It was a new squad for me who'd come up with a couple of that old squad. It was a new squad of players.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were almost one of you and Steve Jacobs were about the only 2 left standing, I think.
Yeah, we were only 20. What were we? 22.
Did you have any idea that Dave was going to get the sack?
No, we didn't know it. No, it came out of the blue, really. And then Bobby turned up.
Yeah, chalk and cheese.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. Bobby had a lot of enthusiasm. He was an ex-Coventry player, so obviously he was determined to try and put things right.
Yeah. And how did you get on with Bobby?
Oh, fine. Yeah, no problem at all. I get on with Bobby right. And I mean, to be fair, I worked under him at Cardiff when I was coaching a few years ago, 2000, when he was director of football at Cardiff. Right. I was assistant manager to Alan Cork. So, met up with him there again. So, yeah, I've always got on with Bobby. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Great enthusiast, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, yeah. He loved the game and everything. It was very good. And like you say, different style, but, there's more ways to skin a cat, isn't there?
Yeah. And I was looking at your record, and you missed the biggest game the following season when we beat Liverpool 4-0.
Right, yeah, and Gibbo scored. It was a hat-trick. Was it a hat-trick? Yeah. I think he was injured, yeah.
Did you have injuries at Coventry? Was it?
I had a few little niggly injuries, yeah. Not a lot, but a few. I missed a few, but I remember missing that game, yeah.
And then you were called up for the England under-21s.
Yeah, and that was very good. We got to the semi-final in the end, I think. Semi-final, and got beat by, I think it was Italy.
And were there any top players in that under-21 side you played with?
It was Steve Hodge and Paul Rideout and Barry Venison, David Seaman, Tony Adams, Nick Pickman, the Wallace brothers from Southampton. Most of the time, who else was it? Paul Bracewell. Yeah, there's a good selection of players. Yeah, there's some good players. Yeah.
Did you think you ever got near the full squad?
I don't know. I don't think so. No, I didn't get called up to any of the squad, so it was just a privilege to represent England at that level, So, like I say, we got knocked out in the semi-final. The Italian team was quite tasty, actually. Vialli played, and Roberto Mancini and Bergomi, who went on to be the Italian captain of the national team. So, yeah, there's some good players in that team. So, yeah.
Giuseppe Bergomi, who played in 4 World Cups and never played one qualifying match.
No, right.
Unbelievable record.
Tournament player then.
Obviously, because they won it and held it, he didn't have to. But in the years that they had to qualify, for some reason, never played any qualifiers, and he came straight into the squad. But the Italian team you talk about ended up virtually all going to the 1990 World Cup.
Yeah.
Whereas I think with England, they rarely stay together, do they? It was only maybe 2 or 3 end up going.
Yeah, it was a strong Italian squad, actually. Yeah. I was playing against the Mancinis and Viallis, So, I think Zengu might have been in goal as well.
Yeah. Yeah, there were. I can remember seeing England in the 23s at Swindon playing against Italy as well. About when Nick Pickering was playing for us, and that's why we went. And even then, they still had the same half the team who played that against your guys were still playing then. They did used to keep the squads together much more than they did with the England team.
What year was that then? What year was that then?
86, about 86 time.
Yeah, that was just probably the year after I finished. Yeah, 'cause it was 84. Right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But it's interesting how the Italian squad was virtually the same players going all the way through, whereas England was it was a mix and match. I don't think that we or England put as much emphasis on the national team like they do now. I think they do try and do that now, don't they? And
Yeah, they try a bit more now. Yeah,
definitely.
Pockets of players are coming through, aren't they, from the 17s and the 19s and 21s? Yeah, that's right.
So you Ian, I think you were involved with the England setup, weren't you, in 2006?
Yeah, I did a lot of scouting. Yeah, with England. Yeah, I did a lot of work on the qualifying games. I went to all the tournaments as well, all the World Cups in Europe. It was a fantastic sort of job for me, really. And I was doing a lot of travelling when we used to 2012 Euros as well. When we used to have like Poland and Ukraine, I used to go over there with people like Kenny Swain, Martin Hunter, Brian Eastick from the FA, and we used to obviously spy on the team and write down the weaknesses and strengths of potential of the potential team we might be playing, and also all bits and bobs on all the players as well. So gave me a little bit of an insight to help them prepare for the game. So a lot of travelling, but very good actually. Went to all over the Eastern Bloc country because we seem to always get like Poland and Ukraine and in them days a lot in the qualifying groups, and so I was always over there. And I think I went to Kosovo as well to see these teams play as well. So I was everywhere, Bulgaria. Yeah, so that was good. I enjoyed that job actually.
Sounds like you're working for a war attaché. All these countries.
Well, I went to Odessa, went to Ukraine. Yeah, in Ukraine, it's everything. Yeah, it was. Also, it was in the Eastern Bloc, you know. But did a lot of tournaments. Went to the German World Cup. When was that now? 90. Have to help me out here. 2000 was that 2000?
2006. Yeah.
2006. I know that.
That's it. I'm losing track of all the tournaments. Yeah, I went to two World Cups, a couple of Euros, did all sort of tournaments, you know, just watching the opposition just in case England got to play them. So interesting job.
So how do you know if someone is a good scout? How's it?
I don't know. I mean, I've been scouting for the last 10 years with various clubs. And it is a difficult job, you know, because you can't sign every player. There's lots of good players out there, and you have to get the ones which you need, what your manager wants or your club needs, your club wants, and it's just keeping on top of everything, really. So well, if you know you're a good scout, well, I suppose it's probably the players who you bring through, really. But it's a little bit different every club, really, because there's a lot of politics involved, and I think I've learned that some recruitment staffs don't have enough power at these clubs, you know.
Right.
Because, you know, some of the managers still have the final say, some of the owners still have the final say, some of the sporting directors still have the final say. It can be a little bit sticky at times, but you know, you're doing all the work, you're bringing names to the table, you're doing all the work on the players. You know, who's he represented by? You know, what's he got? Why do we need him? Is he better than what we got? Kind of thing, you know. So you bring it all together. So that's what I've been doing for the last sort of 10 years.
And do you use the stats a lot? You know,
yeah, we use the stats, yeah. I mean, people are more in data than other clubs, but data is good and it should be used along with video work and also your live work. You can't forget that, you know. I would never sign a player just on data and video. I feel comfortable, and a lot of people do, by watching a player a few times. I think, you know, but it's combining the new with the old, really. Everyone's being driven by this data thing now, and data will refine and it will find players, but also it can't spot everything. So at the end of the day, you use all three, and then hopefully they all tally up and they're all in line, and you come up with the player you think will help the club, help the manager, and do well in the team. But then the final thing is, you've got to get him over the line with the financials.
Are you currently at QPR in scouting for those
No,
guys?
no, I've left. I left there. 2016.
Oh, did you? Right.
Yeah, I've been at Burnley. I was at Burnley for 6 seasons with Martin Hodge, working with Sean Dyche, and then that was after working down at QPR, and then I've been at Southampton for the last 2 seasons. I left in April. Yeah, so I've been all over the place.
Don't mention any players, Jim. He could be spying.
Well, I know for a fact that Ian scouted Ben Sheaf.
Yeah, we were watching it. We were watching a few Coventry players when we were at Burnley. I mean, we wanted to sign Gokares at Burnley then, but we'd got a few strikers there, and we were putting Victor forward and everything. But in the end, we had like Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes and Rodriguez, and so we didn't do it in the end. And then there was obviously Ben Sheaf at Southampton. Our first year at Southampton when we got promoted. I think our owners put a bid in for him.
Did they?
Yeah. We like Ben. I think Ben's a good player. I think he's had a little bit of bad luck with injuries recently, hasn't he? But I don't know. Coventry it'd be sad to see him go, or I don't know what happened there. But now he's gone
it's a really interesting one because he's one of my favourite players, and I'm really sad to see him go. But he didn't have a great season last year. Well, he had a dip last season. He had a super season the previous year, and he started last season with an injury. And I think many people think he was rushed back too quickly because City's results weren't great under Mark Robbins at the start of last year. And I think Ben was just brought back too soon. And he didn't ever seem to get up to, that form he had. Having said that, when somebody pointed out that his stats for last year were still made him one of the best midfield players in the Championship.
Yeah, we watched him in that year. We was playing well. And that's what we liked him at when I was at Southampton. Yeah, came up quite a few times, 4 or 5 times watching him. And for me, it was a no-brainer to take him. And then he had them few injuries, and he might have been rushed back, like you said. And other players then started to come to the front, didn't they, in the Coventry midfield? And
Matt Grimes.
He found it hard then to seal a regular place, and the manager went. That can happen as well. So maybe I think it's an excellent signing for Wrexham.
I do.
So I love this kind of chat because you don't get a chance normally to talk about this kind of stuff with anybody in football.
You watch players and you do your work on them, and you write your reports and you present them to the club where you're at, but it doesn't mean you're going to sign them. It's just there's the list, and then that goes into the manager. Then obviously looks at that, and the sporting director or the owner, whoever it is.
Have you found a couple of gems that you maybe a player you got hold of, but then they were a lot better than you thought they were going to be, kind of thing?
I think the recent one is the boy Fernandez at Southampton.
He's gone for millions, hasn't he?
And he's gone to West Ham for 40 million. Yeah, we kind of watched him and we liked him, and it was a good signing, But they're the signings what the clubs want, don't they? When you're signing players for maybe 5 million, 10 million, and then they're selling them for 18 months later, or in this case, 12 months later, they've sold him for 40 million. But no, there's been players over the last few years where you bring them in at the club. I mean, we had Chris Wood at Burnley as well. Look at Woody. Woody's gone on and he's been playing brilliant, really. Good old fashioned centre forward. There's been players like Josh Brown, who we brought in at Burnley, and he was, I would say he was an exciting player. He's just run of the mill player, but a good, honest professional. and he ended up playing under 3 good managers. You know, always put him first name on the team sheet: Sean Dyche, Vincent Kompany, and now Scott Park. You know, so they're all different types of sort of players. But there's been a few who have done well. So you know, you just really, it's gone are the days when someone sees somebody up in Scotland and no one else has seen him. Now with all these management systems now and the data, and you can watch anybody around the world now. So there's no newbies really, you know.
And of course, clubs, well, especially fans of clubs, just think you're the only the only people looking for players. Where in fact, you could have 6 clubs looking at the same person, and you just
even more, Claudio, and even more now. Foreign clubs coming over to England, watching as well. So you know, you've always got, you know, if you've always got, you know, if you go on a football pitch, there's always somebody watching you. So you know, that's
so how many hours in a week then? How many hours of football are you watching?
I could. Some of my trips at Burnley, I used to do the European at Burnley a lot, so I was always away at weekends. But I'd be watching a game. I could watch a game on a Friday if they fell right, the fixtures and the locations. Game on the Friday, 2 on the Saturday, 1 on the Sunday. Come back either late Sunday night or Monday morning. So I could do 4 games in the weekend in Europe. That's in Germany or Holland or France or Belgium. You know, when it gets into the season, you're doing 4 games a week.
Blimey, that's a lot.
Just depends what your schedule is and how many there is there at the club, you know. So yeah, and then usually the bigger teams have got more resources in the team, in the club, in the country. So you know, they may have 2 scouts in France and 2 in Germany and 2 in Spain. You know what I mean? Living out there as well. So it all feeds in to the transfer period, and hopefully that you get the right ones. But there's a lot of work to be done when you see a player and you follow a player to get him actually through the door. You know, people think it's easy. It's not. It's not.
So this transfer window, because obviously we're going to be on last week, and I was going to ask about the transfer window. So the last 48 hours must be absolutely chaotic for you guys then.
Well, there is, because players can let you down, agents let you down, everything does. I was lucky in this transfer window. I wasn't working for anybody because I'd finished at Southampton, so it was a peaceful one. So yeah, but things can just let you down, and then you know, you might have to go and get somebody who you might not, wasn't your first choice. You know, it could have been your 3rd or 4th choice. So you can only do what you can do in terms of the finances as well. You know. Are
there any clubs, Ian, that you admire their scouting network over others?
Well, I suppose the team what comes up is probably Brighton. They seem, what Brighton do, they do it really, really well. They go around and buy players, and then they loan them out to all the different leagues in Europe, and then obviously monitor them. And when they improve, they put them into a better league. And then if they're good enough then to join their first team, they will. So they're always buying them players for, you know, £2 million, £3 million, some £5 million, some £10 million, and hopefully that they can get an investment. Yeah, a lot of clubs do it right, and there's a lot of clubs who do it wrong. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, you can do everything right, get the player through the door, and for some reason it doesn't work. Now, what happens there? Is that a recruitment problem? Is that, you know, sometimes it can happen like that.
Yes.
You know? But
Brighton seem to have the magic touch with bringing in players. And I looked at their lineup this season, and there's been, you know, almost 100% turnover in the last year. Yeah. And they've sold 5 or 6 players for big money. Yeah. And they've had their replacements ready.
Yeah.
Maybe out on loan somewhere, bring them back, and they're straight in the first team.
Well, you could also say Chelsea as well.
Yeah.
They've spent money galore, you know, and everybody was moaning about it and things, but all the players they've sold, they've made millions now.
We're talking about this before you joined us earlier, weren't we, Jim, about Chelsea?
Yeah.
How they've turned over so much. It's incredible what they've done. We're sending
them. They bought the best young players, didn't they, in Europe? The best ones as well. Whether it was you know, whether it was 30 million, but that 30 million 12 months ago is 45 million now.
Yes.
You know, they seem to have made like 10, 15, 20 million on a lot of players in 12 months, 18 months.
Yes.
So it's when you played, Ian, I'm thinking of obviously reserve team football. I mean, now there isn't any, is there? You've got a huge 25-man squad and most of them are sat on the bench. Did you like playing reserve team football before you made the first team? Because you got to play games. I don't understand.
Yeah. Good
Me
point.
personally, I'd want to play, and because some players will play 5 minutes between now and Christmas.
I think in my day, you didn't want to stop playing. You wanted to play every game. Maybe that's been relaxed a bit now because people now, they've got big squads. People are used to not playing every game. And, you know, I don't know how that works, but I wouldn't well, you would like to be playing these days, but I didn't want to I didn't want to miss a game. You know, I didn't want to be rested. I might have had a bad game, but I wanted to play the next game. You know, and that was a difference. And also, the financial inducements are not like they are now. Were in our day, were they? I mean, it's money galore now in the Premier League. You know,
Sure.
but how can you keep yourself match fit when you're not playing for 8 weeks and then you're called upon? So you need some kind of football, don't you? You need, you might need, you know, a couple of under-21 games, which is not, you know, no good to a senior player playing. Some of them players don't want to play under-21s, but how can you turn your magic on or give your best? You've not played for 7 or 8 weeks. You've been training, but it's not the same, you know.
No.
And it's difficult, but I suppose that's the managers and coaches' job to keep everybody happy, physically tuned in, and get. But it's a hard thing that is to do, you know.
And every manager also wants 2 more players, and doesn't he?
And managers are managers. You know, if someone's not playing well, they want to get him out and get somebody to replace him. Yeah, that's life. I mean, you know, we've heard a few. I don't know if the rumblings were like that at Highfield Road, were they? I think Frank expecting a few more players. I mean, I got a little bit of the media from down there.
Yeah, I think he was after another couple, and nothing came off. But as you said earlier, you got to buy somebody who's going to improve the squad rather than just make up numbers.
But you also need a strong squad as well. You know, you need a little bit of strength in depth, don't you? Because, you know, you get 2 or 3 injuries, and then that could lead to, you know, putting people in the team who are not ready, and and you could lose points on that. So I mean, you need to have some depth in your squad, but at the same time, you know, you've got to keep them happy. You've got to keep them happy. That's the hard thing. But you know, hopefully that Frank's got enough till the next window.
Yes.
Yeah.
So going back to Coventry, your final season there, as you said, we were in another relegation battle. Don Mackay was in charge. How did you get on with Don?
Yeah, fine, very good. Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, I got on with every manager, to be fair.
Yeah,
I got on with everybody manager. Yeah,
we had
I turned up every day, and I enjoyed turning up at the training ground. I enjoyed being with the lads. I enjoyed training, and I wanted to get better. So, you know, when I saw that coaches kind of like invested in you and wanted to help you, well, then it was reciprocated.
Yes.
You know, that kind of thing. So, but Don came around my house in Horsley and said, you know, that you've done well, but we're selling you. So in '85. So myself and Stuart were off in a deal.
So how did that come about? Was that the first you knew about Forest's interest?
I'd heard that was 1 or 2 clubs watching me and everything, but it was a bit of a surprise. And then he come round and said, listen, you know, he said he wanted to play me right back, and I wasn't a right back.
No.
So I don't know why he said that. Maybe he just said that because he knew I was going. I don't know. But then he said, oh, they'd accepted an offer from Notts Forest. So
they come in for you first, did they?
Sorry?
Did they come in for you first before Stuart?
I think they're together. I think it was together.
Yeah. It was the day after the Everton game.
Yeah, it was on the Monday. It was to be the Monday. Yeah, Monday. Yeah. Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
so obviously when you were Pizza Land in Leamington, weren't you? According to this guy.
Yeah, celebrating staying up in Pizza Land. Yeah,
I hope you weren't having pineapple on your pizza. I'd be very much upset.
I can't remember that. I mean, I don't think I was rude or anything like that. I was never like that. But
Yeah,
No,
you
I
never,
think
you never let facts get in the way of a good story, do you?
that's right. That's right. Yeah. Anyway, on the Monday, he turned up and we were off. So and that was great, you know, because you had the chance then to go and play under
Oh,
Brian Clough. And
you must tell us how you met Brian Clough then, because that's going to be
I met
different.
him in the car. I met him in the car park actually, and he gave me a right good kiss on the on the cheek, like he did, like he did most players, and the cheek or the forehead. And yeah, he obviously larger than life character and what he'd done in the game and what he, you know, it was phenomenal really, and to play under him. Obviously, he had his methods. Maybe his methods might not have been used today in the same way, or you know, but yeah, he I learned a lot off him. I was only there 16 months though. Probably let myself down a little bit in the second season. Wasn't playing as well as I should have been playing. And that was it. But the 17 months, 18 months, yeah, about 17 months I was there. I really enjoyed it and got to play with some really good players. And yeah, it was a privilege to play under him.
presumably you were central defence with Des Walker, were you?
Yeah, with Des and sometimes Chris Fairclough as well.
Yeah.
And there's also another guy called Bring Gunn there as well who played along the back. So yeah, there's a few centre backs there. Yeah.
Was he really
Well,
fast,
Des,
Des Walker?
Yeah, Des was a good player. He's a typical sweeper type, you know. He wasn't a big physical type, but he was a sweeper type who could run in behind. You know, he could cover people, and tenacious in the tackle as well. Yeah, he did well, Des. Yeah, good lad as well. Very good lad.
yes. His son was at Coventry. Did you know that?
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was. Yeah, yeah.
Walker, yeah.
Centre forward, wasn't he?
Yeah, his career's really gone down the pan since he left us. He's not done. He's had a lot of injuries. I think he was at Lincoln.
Right.
Not sure where he is now, but
he came with a lot of pedigree, didn't he? He looked like he was going to be okay, and he just never got going. Never got going at all for us, which is a shame, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah, and then obviously
what happened at Forest then? Did you fall out with Cloughie or?
No, not fall out with Cloughie. No, it's just you know, probably wasn't playing as well as he should have been, or it wasn't improving as quickly as I thought it would, or they thought it would. I don't know. And I was in and out of the team the second season a little bit, and then Norwich came in for me. Ken Brown had been watching me, and then one of their centre backs, Sean Elliott, got injured, and they wanted somebody to take his place. And then I went there on loan for a month. We'd won all the loan games, 4 games I was there, and so Norwich wanted to sign me. And then I signed at Norwich, and played alongside Steve Bruce for my first season.
Wow!
So
and you had a brilliant career at Norwich. You know, Norwich is probably Norwich's greatest ever era, I would think.
Well, it was a good era. Yeah, we'd done really well actually, and we had a good team, and a lot of us had played together. I think that was the key, Jim. You know, it was like myself and Brian Gunn and Ian Crook and Culverhouse and Mark Bowen.
Was Dave Phillips there? David Phillips there by the time?
Phillips came, a couple of years after. Yeah, he came, and we'd all stuck together a little bit. And yeah, we were, like you say, a mid-table, you know, Premier League. Well, it wasn't the Premier League then, was it? Till '92, but it was, you know, the top flight. We were always mid-table, and you know, we got into Europe.
You got two FA Cup semi-finals. I read
semi-finals, yeah, and then got into Europe. 94, 95 kind of thing. So we're doing well for a provincial club stuck out there. Nice area, Norwich. Pain in the backside to get to on them roads, but lovely city. And again, we you know, we had a good, you know, a good squad of players, and We possibly could have won the league when we finished third to qualify for the UEFA Cup. We were top until Christmas, and we didn't really. We should have gone out to strengthen a little bit, and we didn't. The chairman didn't spend any money and just faded off a little bit. And Man
I'm
United,
sure that's the season where it was yourselves, us, and Millwall had started well. Is that right,
yeah.
Jim?
Millwall started well, yeah. Aston Villa had as well. Aston Villa, Man United. I think Man United won it that year. I think Aston Villa was in the top three.
Yeah, it was that. That was it 88-89 season, I think.
That season, yeah. I'm on about a little bit later when we qualified.
Okay.
Yeah, the 90. Nothing.
92-3. Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the year we had a good season. Bobby Gould was back as manager, and we had a good season, and just faded out at the end. But we knocked Blackburn off the top in January, February time. Yeah. No, but the previous one, the 88-89 season, Norwich were top when Coventry came to Carrow Road. The week after we'd lost to Sutton in the FA Cup.
Oh right, yeah, that's right.
And David Speedy scored a tremendous winning goal in the final minute.
Yeah,
I think you played that day.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, because then we played Sutton in the cup, didn't we? We drew Sutton in the cup.
Yeah.
At home. Yeah, and I remember that game because we were all thinking, well, they've done Coventry, so let's make sure we go out there. First 10 minutes, let's smother them, get on top of them, and they hit the bar in the first 5 minutes. So, and then I think we went on to win 5 or 6. I think
8.
Was it 8?
Yeah.
You must have been bad that day for them to beat you then.
Yeah. So you had a fantastic career, and of course you played Bayern Munich, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, when we played, when we qualified, we played Vitesse Arnhem, Bayern Munich, and Inter Milan. So we were narrowly beaten in the San Siro by Inter Milan, actually. But we were first English side to beat Bayern Munich on home soil when they played in the old Olympic Stadium.
Yeah.
So
tremendous.
It was a great night for Norwich. That was terrific, really terrific game.
Yeah.
And obviously Jerry Goss scored the important goal, and
great goal as well, wasn't it?
And he scored some important goals. Jerry did that season, and the ironic thing about it, he wasn't in the team before that season, and Mike put him in the team. He was always sort of like in and out of the team, and it's kind of like a reserve team player. But then he was elevated into the first team, and that year he scored some really important goals for us. And obviously the Bayern Munich one capped it off. So good memories they were. And
one of your teammates was Mark Robbins, of course.
Yeah. He lived. He lived my next door neighbour, actually, because when he came to the club, one of my duties was as skipper was to sort of like maybe take the new players around certain areas to show them the areas. I'd been in Norwich a few years, so I knew the city quite well. So we were driving round, and we got into my village, and I had a barn in them days, and there was a couple of smaller barns attached to it. And this barn over on the right hand side, not next door, was for sale. And as we were driving past, I just said, "Oh, I just live over there." And he said, "Oh, there's one for sale there." And I said, "Yeah, there's a he was a smaller one than mine." And I'm not sort of saying that mine was and he ended up buying it. So we're kind of neighbours, like. So so I know Robbo quite well, actually. Lost touch with him a little bit when we left Norwich, but bumped into him when he was manager at Rotherham. And then his first stint at Coventry, he rang me up he asked me to be his chief scout. Yeah, but I'd already committed myself to Queen's Park Rangers, so so I had to say no. But spoke to him last year. Funny enough, spoke to him about a couple of players, actually. Doing some homework, all above board. It was all above board. So I've not spoke to him since he went to Stoke. So I wish him the best of luck at Stoke, because I think he he had a great career at Coventry. I think he did really well.
Yeah.
Not sure what happened at the end. I've heard various rumours, but that's nothing to do with me. But he did really well for the club, and he was probably the last person I thought would do well in management. I didn't think when I played with him he'd be a good manager, but that's how it changed. Well, you have them sort of things, don't you, about people you're thinking, would he be a manager? I'm not so sure, but then obviously he's done well, and I'm sure he'll go on have a good career in management. I'm sure he'll manage to
I think
old age.
I've met him a few times, and I think he's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And I think the way he handled himself in management, he left Coventry only about 6 months after he came in his first stint.
That's right.
He went to Huddersfield, lured away with money, no doubt. But I think I'm sure in his second spell at Coventry, he's had approaches, and I think from higher teams, I would think.
Yeah.
Particularly when we were maybe in League One, but I think he was Coventry through and through.
Yeah.
Jim, I don't think he'd have gone the first time had we not been going to Northampton. Yeah, it was on the cards.
Maybe.
I think that's what was. Yeah,
he's actually doing a managing job on a club where they've had some really they've had some bad luck, haven't they? They've had some bad times. They've had to move grounds, haven't they, to Northampton and Birmingham. You've had all the politics with the ownership of the stadium, and he's had to manage the team and get results through all that. And that's well played to him, really, because they're things that are distract people. Obviously the fans have had a bad time with going to these places and all the thing. Now the stadium problem has been settled.
Yeah, I was just thinking in that team, that Norwich team, you had Robert Fleck up front. We've got David Speedy. You can't imagine Chelsea selling the two top strikers to clubs like Coventry and Norwich nowadays, can you?
No,
it just wouldn't happen, would it?
No,
because only a couple of years before that was their twin strikers, weren't they? And
that's right, yeah. Well, they've got plenty of players. Chelsea, haven't they?
So you've been coaching, Ian, and you were assistant manager in quite a few assistant manager jobs in your Cardiff and
Cardiff. Darlington was my first one. Yeah, Darlington, Cardiff, Hartlepool as well, and then a little brief thing at Norwich. Went back to my old club. It didn't sort of really work out. I love coaching, and then I was out of work for a few months, and I got into the recruitment really with Queen's Park Rangers. Was working down there, was travelling, because you don't need to be at the training ground when you're in sort of recruitment, as long as you're there for the meetings, and everyone's doing meetings on the Zoom and things like that. So a lot of travelling, and went down to QPR. So that started my recruitment.
And are you hoping to get another job?
Yes, looking to get back in. Yeah, one or two things might come up very soon.
So presumably you've got to keep your finger on the pulse and watch.
Yeah,
games.
I still go to a lot of games now. You're lucky enough that you can, you've got enough contacts in the game, and I've got a hell of a lot of contacts in Europe, in England, and so I still go to a lot of games. So that's what you have to do, and you have to keep your finger on the pulse.
Any in the current Coventry squad that you fancy?
Well, they haven't changed it a lot, have they, for the last couple of seasons? Really, have they? Been many changes.
And most of the purchases they've made in the last couple of years have been good purchases. There's been very few, duffers.
True, yeah, and they've played as a team, haven't they? They've been organised and played as a team. There's no really star players, outstanding performers, is there?
No.
Maybe the boy who went to Sheffield United, little lad up front, Callum
O'Hare.
We watched him. Yeah, we spoke to him as well when we were at Southampton as well. But he doesn't seem to have kicked on much, has he?
No, and of course he went on a free.
Yeah, no, that's yeah,
And
yeah.
I think Doug King, the owner, I don't think when it came to Ben Sheaf, Ben only had a year left on his contract.
Yeah.
And I don't think Doug King was going to let him run out his contract.
Yeah.
So I think that's one factor in the Wrexham move.
Well, it's a big, probably the major factor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, can I ask you about a former player? So I just want to know what can you remember about Stuart Pearce when he first arrived at Coventry? Because we've heard all kinds of stories about how Stuart was when he turned up. Did you think he was going to be the player he turned out to be? Because he seemed extraordinary from day one, from his debut.
Especially when he came from non-league, you would have thought, he came from non-league, and he'd been rejected a couple of times by a couple of clubs. We stayed in the same digs together in Wyking until we moved out, and obviously mates with him. Not seen him for a bit. I'll have to give him a ring, actually. We always, sometimes you might not see anybody for 10, 15 years, and you bump into him like somewhere twice in a week. But no, he was a bit raw, aggressive, but full of it though. He was on the front foot. He wanted to be a footballer. You could just tell that. So when he came in, he came in, like a bull in a china shop, and we thought, hey, we might be a player here, and he was a player. You couldn't fault his enthusiasm and his effort, and he did really well. He just improved, didn't he? As soon as he came in, he just went like that, and arguably could have been one of our English best. Well, probably him and Ashley Cole, depends who probably the best left backs we've had.
I think he gets into a lot of the fans at top 11, doesn't he, Jim?
Yeah.
He did, and he wanted to win. He wanted to be a player, and you knew what you're going to get from Stuart. He could make mistakes, but not many, and also wingers who played against him knew they were in a game. He wouldn't want to fancy Stuart, coming in lunging in with them tackles we used to time, and he was very, very, very good, and it was great to play with. And you could see it really, just thinking, cool, what's this? This is coming from non-league, He was solid, he was strong, but he was aggressive. He's on the front foot. He wanted to be a player. So, he had a couple of rejections, and he didn't want to, and he was an electrician.
Yeah. So you have to say, Bobby Gould did extraordinary with his scouting when we desperately needed players, because I think Bobby said, is this right, Jim? He was watching a game every night, pretty much, always watching football.
His brother wanted it. It was his brother who notified Bobby. Was it Trevor? Yeah, I think his brother notified him about this left back at Wilston, and then Bobby went down and said, "Right, yeah, I'll have a bit of that." So so he came in, and and he's a good lad as well, So he was easy. He mixed in the dressing room, no problem. So his career went strength to strength, really.
Yeah, top player.
But before we finish off, Ian, when you're a player, who would you say were your toughest opponents in strikers?
You'd have to say Ian Rush,
right?
Because he never let you dwell on the ball. He'd be always at you. He was their best defender. He was Liverpool's best defender.
Yeah.
Because he had so much work. You tried to knock it around the back, and he'd be onto you like a flash. And then crosses came in, and it seemed he just seemed to be in the right place all the time. And if you were in the right place as defender, and there's trouble. So you had to really focus on him. But he was quick. He was raw. He'd run in behind, but he just seemed to just latch onto things and be there all the time. But his work rate was excellent, and that's what you need off your striker.
I think he scored a fair few goals against us in the early 80s, didn't he?
Yes, yeah. Well, he scored against everybody, didn't he?
I think he got 4 one day.
Yeah,
yeah.
Is it him?
He was there, and then there's some good players in them days. I think there was more strikers in them days than probably what there is now.
Yeah.
You had your Gary Linekers. You
Yeah,
know,
we couldn't cope with Tony Cottee either, could we, Jim? At Coventry, like to score against us.
Yeah.
Tony Cotter, yeah, well, he was another one. He was one of those them little ones out there. There used to be a lot of them partnerships, a big one, and a little one, wasn't there? In the
Yeah.
80s
Who did you like to pick up? Did you sort of go, oh no, don't give me the little one?
Didn't mind. I didn't mind. I didn't mind because you in a game, usually you couldn't say I'm going to mark the big one all the time or I'm going to mark the little one because people were crossing over, making runs and that sort of thing. You had to do your bit against a big one or a little one. You wouldn't want to play against Gary Thompson either. I met him, Tomo, a few weeks ago at the reunion. And we had a good laugh and a good chat and a catch up and everything. But you wouldn't want to play against Gary Thompson every week, would you?
No.
No.
That's
Used to love watching Gary play.
Yeah.
Used to love him.
Well, he was just one of those players that he could leap. He had a great leap on him. He used to hang there, didn't he? And his arms were there protecting himself. And you got that stray elbow now and again. And then he used to glance headers down. Yeah, I mean, terrific.
Because I think as fans, you were either for Haitley or for Thompson. It was one of those, and I think Gary won the stakes and with the fans. Don't you think, Jim? I think he was a firm favourite.
Yeah.
I think Mark was a better header of the ball, more direction on the header and more feel on the head of the ball. But Gary just had that aggression. He could make a chance. He'd get in between defenders. But Mark was decent. Yeah.
Well, Mark came into the side, and you knew straight away he was going to be a top player.
Yeah.
He had trouble scoring at first, but once he got that first goal, he just went from strength to strength. And you could tell in his body language, his whole demeanour, he was going to be a top striker. It must have been great though, having at Coventry, where the whole team virtually. You mentioned Daly and Jerry Francis, but virtually the whole team, the whole squad were homegrown players who'd grown up together. It must have been a great camaraderie.
Yeah, there was. It was a good team spirit. Lads had played together for a few years, and there was a good mix. That's what Dave got in there, Then you've got Harry Roberts as well, left back, Stevie Hunt, who was a terrific player, really. I mean, probably should have got more England caps. He had a terrific left foot, Steve. Absolutely fantastic left foot. He could play. He was a player. He just had a little bit of class about him. He called up for England a couple of times, didn't he? But I was surprised that he didn't get more, and he was there as well. So all them older ones help you. I didn't when I first got to Coventry. The players then, when I was an apprentice, there was sort of Jim Holton still there, and Ian Wallace and Mick Stewart and Ray Goodin. That sort of era, And there's some good pros, wily old pros there. Bobby McDonald, Tommy Hutch.
Yeah,
they were sort of finishing off when I got there. So there's been
that game at Main Road where in the cup game. I remember Danny Thomas played in midfield that day.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's a good athlete. Yeah, good athlete.
He had an amazing game. He marked Asa Hartford.
He did. Yeah.
To such an extent, Hartford lashed out and got sent off.
Yeah. I mean, my first touch, and that I'm just coming back to me. My first touch is when I hit the bar with a shot. I just come on for 10 minutes, and then it just come back to me, and I just with my left foot, and it beat Joe Corrigan and hit the bar, but obviously bounced off. Didn't go in the net, yeah. So
and you played 100 games for Coventry. You didn't score a goal.
No, I didn't score. No, I wasn't a great goal scorer. No, that was my downside. Yeah, so
that would have been a start, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have been a start. Yeah,
So was your second touch setting up Bodak?
Yeah, well, no, it was probably my third or fourth touch, but yeah, that was remembered on it. Well, it was obviously I remembered it because it was my first 10 minutes in senior football, but. What a great goal from Peter Bodak! Yeah, he was another player. Great skill. He really was a charismatic winger, wasn't he? He had everything really, and he was a funny lad as well. Very funny lad, but
he liked to party. I gather is what Peter once told me.
Did he? That's the part. Probably most people did in them days. You could get away with it then.
Yeah.
I get away with it then.
I'm not sure he did though, because I gather he kept getting caught. So.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you saw it, remembered it, but he was a great lad. Honestly, he was terrific player as well. You know, why didn't he do more in the game? I don't know. Well, he went to Manchester United, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I don't remember the pre-season photo shoot. He was there. I think he was next to Ron Atkinson. I think it was Ron, somebody, and then Peter. And Peter got this gold chain with a medallion on it halfway down his chest, like, and he was sitting there like all proud as punch, like next to Bojangles, Ron Atkinson, like, and he's got this chain like that, like look, smiling and all that. I thought it was brilliant. That's just him.
He said to me once, he said that you then joined Man City to keep them up, and he said we got relegated. That just made me laugh.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing now. Actually,
he watches our games most weeks. He's at the ground. Yeah. He watches a lot of Cov matches. Yeah.
Because a Birmingham boy, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one who was I thought who would go on to be a player was David Barnes, the left back. If you remember him.
Yes. England Youth International, wasn't he? He never really made it.
No, but I thought when I first went to Coventry, I saw him play. I thought destined for the top.
Yeah.
Did he go to Ipswich, Jim? Was it Ipswich?
He did. Yeah, he did.
All these things happen to players. Yeah, that's right.
Well, thank you very much, Ian. It's been a fascinating hour or more, and really interesting. I'm sure our listeners will love it. So really, thank you very much, and good luck in your job hunting.
Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah,
and hope to see you at a Legends Day, maybe.
I enjoyed that. It was the first one actually, because I've always seemed to be out the country when it's on. But I came to the last one, really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was great, and hopefully I can make the next one, and I'll be down to Coventry watch a few games.
Good. Look forward to seeing you.
And for those listening and watching when it goes out on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe. You can contact Jim at clarryborton@gmail.com. Yet again, Jim, we've had some lovely emails, haven't we?
We have.
All positive
we can talk through some of them next week, can't we?
And any bad reviews, we just bin them. We don't mention those. But we've not had any. That's a good thing. And someone said to me, when you get to episode 50, are you going to have a special program?
Oh, we'll have to, won't we? Yeah.
Let's get Big Ron on.
Yes.
But Ian, brilliant. Absolutely great insight with the scouting as well. That's interesting, because I think it's some parts of football fans are interested in and don't get any sort of knowledge of it, and they don't get told what happens. And it's
I could have bored you for a few more hours actually.
I love all that kind of stuff, the background stuff. It fascinates me. But thank you for joining us.
Pleasure to meet you.
Absolutely brilliant. And Jim, I think we're back next week, are we?
Hopefully, yes.
Any thoughts about the weekend? Another 3 points coming up?
Oh, I don't make predictions.
I know you don't. It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
I'm going to watch Wrexham and QPR on Saturday.
Oh, see Ben Sheaf make his debut.
Yeah, maybe, mate. Yeah, he may be. Yeah.
I'll expect a report paper on my desk in the morning. Then,
You're not buying them back. You're giving them away now, haven't you?
All right, brilliant. Good night, all, and we'll catch up with everybody next week.
Okay. Good night. Night.
Company business. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you.
Lovely.